Drew, the flashlight did not lie. Alan Wake is coming to Dead by Daylight as a new survivor. And Andy Chalk at PC Gamer tells us more. One day, after dropping a teaser that shone a pretty clear light on what was coming next, Behavior Interactive has made it official. Alan Wake, the long-suffering writer and star of Remedy's Alan Wake games, of course, is coming to Dead by Daylight as a new survivor. Alan Wake brings a trio of unique perks to the game, all of them specific to the character. Champion of Light grants a make faster movement while he's using his flashlight, for example, and if he blinds a killer with it, they'll be temporarily slowed. And yes, this is the, quote, real Alan Wake, with new voice lines provided by Matthew Peretta, who voices the character in Remedy's award-winning survivor horror games. Quote, "We are thrilled and honored to have Alan Wake enter the fog of Dead by Daylight," end quote. Remedy creative director Sam Lake said, quote, "From our early excited conversations about our collaboration with Behavior Interactive, it was clear that the lore of both games were surprisingly compatible, drawing with many similar inspirations, a true match in hell," he says, end quote. Dead by Daylight's previous big celebrity survivor, real-life actor Nicolas Cage, was really an unexpected and oddball bit of casting. You can say that again.
Yeah.
Although he threw himself into it enough to cause serious psychological trauma to features writer Harvey Randall. Alan Wake is a much more natural fit. The world he inhabits in his own games is more psychological horror than a slasher flick. And he's not going to be able to write his way out of an ugly encounter with Chucky, but the bottom line is that he's a guy desperately trying to escape a horrific realm he was sucked into through no fault of his own. And that does match Dead by Daylight, to my understanding. Quote,
Yeah.
"Since it first launched back in 2010, Alan Wake has been a huge influence to us on the Dead by Daylight team," end quote. Behavior Interactive head of partnerships Mathieu Cote said, quote, from broad themes to specific elements, both our games already feel connected in many ways. Quote, "This is a character we always thought would be right at home in the Dead by Daylight universe. To finally see Alan come to the fog as a survivor feels like a full circle moment, especially as the recently released second entry of the franchise is still fresh in players' minds," end quote. And I think that's really the bottom line through this, is that Alan Wake is just unstoppable. So now he's coming in finds himself in another nightmare situation. But Alan Wake is slated to arrive in the Dead by Daylight universe on January 30th. But you can step into his shoes now in the public test build that's available on Steam if you so choose.
There you go, Scott. That makes total sense. Coming off the success of the game, keep that in the minds of players, right? Keep Alan Wake alive. How do you do that? You bring him to another IP. Dead by Daylight is actually a really good fit. So I was talking to my son yesterday about it. I'm like, "You getting this?" He goes, "No, he's not. He's 12. Right into Dead by Daylight. Like, loves Dead by Daylight." I'm like, "Man, really? Like, that's..." "Yeah, Dad. Like, I got this guy. I got this guy. I got this guy." He's not big on the survivors. He wants more to get, like, the killers instead.
He's the antagonist form.
Yeah, he loves being the bad guy. So
the first phase.
Yeah, exactly. I should be worried, maybe. It's one of those things, right? I was like, wow, you're really into this game. Absolutely adores it. Just loves it. So he's like, "Hey," I said to him, "You gonna get this?" And he's like, "No, Alan Wake, it's just a survivor. If they team up with one of the actual killers, then yeah, I'll pick it up." But he says, no, if it's solo, he's not gonna do it. But either way, I'm like, wow, man, crazy. Alan Wake, huge success. Keep that going, which is, I thought, a perfect fit. And dude, you kick it over to Dead by Daylight, that game is unstoppable. Like, who don't they have? It almost reminds me of Fortnite.
It's Smash Brothers, but for horror games. That's how I view it. It's got everybody and everybody.
It's very, very cool. But there you go. Alan Wake still going strong, even if it's not his own game.